Hi everyone, it's me, Aaron, and today I'm going to be doing something new. Today we are going to be looking through these 3 sketchbooks that I have completed. I'm choosing these 3 because I went through this one at the end of 8th grade, going into my freshman year, which just ended. I'm a 10th grader, by the way, now. Amazing. And then I went through these 2 sketchbooks, this little one and this big one at the same time. So I've decided I will show you them in the best order that I can. So let's begin. Alright, so on the first page here we have this. It was supposed to be like a sketchbook spread. It was going to be like a welcome to the sketchbook thing, but I never inked it. So this piece is kind of just unfinished. It's just me sitting in my room. It says it's May 2019 there. This isn't how my room looks, by the way. Next we have this. If I were to show you my old sketchbook, this would be like a complete opposite of what I've done before. I used very muted colors for this entire piece, and I went for much thinner lines than I have gone in the past. I usually love a bold line. If you've ever seen ancient Greek statues, it's sort of inspired by that, with like the small curls and like the almost ivory tone of the entire piece. This is just a page where I was practicing 2 things at once. Here I drew something in watercolor, which I was going to finish, maybe make a more layered face. And here I just have this ink drawing. I focused a lot on varying my line weight. This is all done in micron, by the way. So I used like the smallest micron for the lines here and then the thicker ones in the outline. This is a piece where I was trying to work on world building. I tried to add different elements to this piece that made it seem like there was a larger story behind it. So I added this wanted sign. We have this character in the center. There's a lot of different Easter eggs in this, like how the clock doesn't have any arms. There's nothing behind the window. There's a bunch of stalagmites on the ground and this weird marshmallow shape with the plug. And also the lamp is not attached to any plug. It's just a lot of weird things. This one's interesting because I vividly remember drawing this in one of the last days of 8th grade in my choir class, and we were watching Mary Poppins, but we also had to take like a quiz on it. Like, you know when you're like watching a Bill Nye and then you have to like fill in things? We had to fill in stuff with like plot details about Mary Poppins, and it just felt like a waste of paper. Like there was no purpose to it. I feel like the teacher was just gonna throw it away. I also kind of didn't like that teacher that much, so I didn't do it and just drew this instead. I also wanted to make these weird like bird creatures that look like if you've ever seen the birds that are like, oh my god, that was a really bad drawing. Have you ever seen these kinds of birds like in the distance of landscapes? I just wanted to see what that would look like if it was like that but close up. I don't know if I described that well, but like just a weird legless creature. I remember like laboring over the face of this piece because I just could not get the shading right for the life of me. I wanted to create something very like galaxy alien like. I feel like it's a little Steven Universe inspired, and looking at it now I feel like I only like the lips on the face. The shading is like kind of off. The eyes have no dimension to them. They're sort of just like dots in a little Play-Doh circle. Next we have these 2 drawings that I made for my art account, eggleg.jpg. When I was in the 8th grade, my thing was I would draw egg legs and then just leave them in my drama class. And then kids in the lower grades, like the 7th graders, would find them and then show them to the teacher and sort of be horrified because I would draw them really scarily. So I wanted to sort of do that, like make an account where I just drew egg legs. But it just became my art account. But my concept was I would start with something like this, something cute and friendly, and slowly it would become this. Also, this says "give me your bones." Sounds weird, but that was my catchphrase in the 8th grade. I know. This is just some girl with a butterfly clip. I wanted to draw more graphic and shape design characters. So as you can see, her head is very circular. I wanted to create like a more boxy bottom. But I feel like I could have made the shapes even more simple. Like, I feel like there's too much weirdness in the shape. Like, it's sort of irregularly polygon shaped. So this is another egg leg. I was thinking of other types of eggs, and I drew a tadpole egg. And tadpole eggs are sort of clear, and then they have the tadpole swimming in them. This is actually made with gouache mixed with acrylic. Looking at it now, it kind of reminds me of that amoeba Pokemon. This is one of my favorite pieces in the sketchbook. It's sort of inspired by Mona Lisa because she has no eyebrows, but the way I simplified it, like the face is extremely smooth, is sort of like digital-esque style art. Like I also kept a lot of the texture in the hair, which I really like. I didn't draw any individual hairlines or nothing. I used a gesso for this piece, so it's very rough. You'll see going into my next paintings that I use a lot of gesso. I don't really know what I was going for with this concept. I sort of think it was just a flaming head. I think I was gonna draw a body here and then didn't. I don't know, I feel like the colors that I used could have been so much more vibrant. I think that the shade of red that I used, which is this, just couldn't get as bright as I wanted it to be on the page for some reason. I think that's because I was using dirty water when I mixed it, or like already like not clear water, so then all the colors were sort of desaturated. But I like how I shaded a bunch of this. I might redraw this one day. This is just a Tim Burton inspired piece. I feel like next time if I were to make a Tim Burton art style sort of thing, I would use darker colors. This is very like faded out. I also don't like the shape of the neck. I like the ears though. I think I'm gonna keep that. I like how they're just like two half circles. Oh, this one is fun. This is Joji, the singer. I'm a really big fan of Joji. I've been watching him since maybe like the last year of his Filthy Frank days, like when I was in 7th grade. And he released a music video for his song Sanctuary, which is very space themed. And I wanted to create this watercolor-esque style painting. This is actually acrylic, but I use it mixed with water highly, so it looks watercolory. Here's like the set of skin tones I used. I never finished the background or the outfit, but I sort of like how minimal it is. This is just a drawing that I drew inspired by this girl I saw on Instagram who had a bright green lime wig. I feel like neon greens and other stuff are very in trend in both fashion and in art. Like I see a lot of highlighter neon style hair in artwork and neon style line work, which I think is really cool. You'll see that coming in my next sketchbook, but yeah. This is just a drawing that I drew while I was in the Crystal Bridges Museum in the South, the American Art Museum. They had a little thing for little kids, and I was there with my little cousin. And I decided to draw this weird, almost Spirited Away style spirit. I drew it with flat crayons, so I don't have any on me right now, but the crayons were this shape. So when I drew a shape, like for example the arm, I would draw it like that. I actually really like how this ended up. Anyways, this piece is inspired by Alexandrite from Steven Universe. This was around the time when the show was ending. Like, I don't think the show ended at this point. She's also sort of inspired by Little Shop of Horrors. Like, I love how I drew this hand though. It's really like wobbly and funky. So yeah. Flip. This is an interesting spread. So, first of all, I drew this one maybe like after I was done with the sketchbook and I just came back in with a blank space. And I wanted to do sort of like this sculpting style of painting where someone sort of draws a ball of clay and then sculpts into it. Like this sort of does look like monster clay if you've ever seen it. It's like this peach colored clay that you sort of shape into a face. So I was going to do that and then just continuously add darker and darker shadows, but I ended up liking how it was. Here's just Handsome Squidward. I drew it with a lot of colored pencils. I wanted to sneak in a lot of bright colors near his shadow area. This is a drawing of a hairstyle that I had at some point, like the middle part with like the little curls. This is me going back to an older style where I would draw super wavy lines and have more like bean-shaped heads. I think it's nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to that again, but it's cool. This is a drawing of Namicho. If you've never seen Namicho, she's a hair YouTuber. She does a lot of hair dyeing and hair bleaching videos. And I found her through her Don't Bleach Your Hair 3 Times in a Row video, where she ends up sort of just destroying her hair. And I watched that because I wanted to bleach my hair. I'm sort of afraid of doing it now because of that video. At one point in time, she cut her bangs really diagonally and really short. And I really liked how it looked, so I drew her. I didn't fill in the shirt, but yeah. This page is just me practicing with paint. This is an ink monster I drew. I wanted to create a whole entire squiggly background, but I didn't. Oh, this is where it gets interesting. I found this Instagram page that just has references of a bunch of people, so I drew this piece. The original photo actually has a massive earring right here, but I didn't draw that. Again, here's another study I did from that same art account. I did that thing where I swatched all the colors that I used while painting it, and I think it ended up really cool. I really like this red streak right here that shows like the flesh reflecting in the light. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. So at this point, I was moving on from using the references from that Instagram account to my own references, and I had this photo of my friend that I took on 4th of July last year, where she's just sitting at the lake with flowers in her hair and stuff. But the perspective of my phone made it so weird, and she just ended up looking kind of funky in here in this drawing. It is what it is. Here's another painting. This is another painting of my friend. This is from a picture of my friend in DC. In the actual photo, the background is the grass in front of the Lincoln Memorial. We were just sitting there, and yeah. Here we have some character designs I made for an animation I was going to do, but never did. It's a husband. His name is Jared Johnson. This is Janice Johnson, and then this is Johnson Johnson, the little boy. I wanted Jared to be extremely like expressive with his massive eyebrows and like his mustache. And I wanted Janice to be very stoic and almost creepy. And then their baby should just be like a baby. So yeah. Oh boy, here we have Mike Wazowski. Accursed Mike Wazowski. Thick. I know you see me. Did you know that every time Mike nods his head, he twerks? I don't know how that came into my mind, but it did. Here we have a minion holding Mike Wazowski. I'm just gonna let this speak for itself. Here we have this face that I drew with no initial sketch, so the neck looks extremely wonky. Here we have a drawing of Marge Simpson and her big hair. I wanted to draw every single texture very detailed with ink, so it was fun. This is another painting of my friend. It's from this photo that I took when we all were hanging out, probably at like 10 at night, and we were just running around park at night and having fun like kids do. And she's just standing there in a dark, ominous background. This is a drawing I made from live reference. If you've ever heard of the book Walden, I went to the pond that book's about and drew this tree. This is just an unfinished face that I never completed, obviously, since it's unfinished. Here we have another painting of my friend. The photo that I used as reference is from the day before freshman orientation, where we wanted to have fun and like do some makeover stuff. So I curled her hair and it ended up just becoming loose waves, but that is what this painting is. Here we have a creepy nightmare face. Love it. I don't really know what this is. It's sort of just a girl looking from a downwards angle, and it says no reference, so I'm guessing I just had that image in my mind. This is the front of my school. I never bothered to ink this, but it's a live sketch. Here we have this alien creature. I wanted to use a lot of the sunset colors because I just got a new set of paint, and I love it. I just got this magenta color, which I love. You'll see me use this a lot later. And here we start the Inktober era, and that is where I will continue off later. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to continue off where Inktober starts in the next video. So, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you liked my art. This is very different than what's coming, so be prepared for that big artist glow up. And I hope you have a great day. Keep drawing if you're an artist, and if you're not, start, and I will start editing this. All 30 minutes of this footage. Wonderful.